Bryan, how much did you appreciate the opportunity to finish that off there in the sixth inning?
Sorry, say that again?
How much did you appreciate
sixth inning?
Yeah, the opportunity to finish off the sixth inning and the emotion that you showed after, too.
Yeah, it means a lot. I think when coaches and players and anybody, they have faith in you to finish a job, especially late in the game, I think it means a lot, holds a lot of weight. So, for Dan, Woody, players, whoever, to have that belief in you, it means a lot. So just glad I, carried through on it.
What has that done for you this season, just to be able to get those types of moments, to clear the sixth inning every start as you continue to build on, going down the stretch here?
Yeah, it means a lot. I think, like I keep reiterating, it's really just the consistency. It's doing my job. It's showing up every time I take the ball, and it's a consistent effort for me. You know what you're going to get out of me, and the team hopefully knows and feels that as well. So. As long as I'm doing my job and keeping us in games and giving us an opportunity to win, that's what matters most.
Was it a battle out there today? I think that 30-some foul balls off you, and just seemed like there were a couple pitches where you weren't pleased with the location or maybe the command of where you wanted it to go. I mean, with usually your fastball is really pinpoint, but it looked like you were a little frustrated at times.
Yeah, at times. I think, you're going to have games like that where it's just stuff's not going your way or, command isn't as good or pitches just don't end up where you want them to. But I think in the moment, obviously, I get emotional. But deep down, it's really just trying to, continue to do my job, but also use that energy, frustration, whatever you want to call it, and kind of use it as motivation to continue to carry on through the rest of the inning and the rest of the game. So try to just make sure it goes in a positive direction.
Yeah, because it's weird. Like, I think you had 2 3-ball counts, but then you're at 99 pitches. Like, it's just you don't usually see that. Did you feel like you executed though, like that last inning, some of the fastballs that when you wanted to get the swing and the miss, you were able to kind of dig down and get the ones you wanted there? Yeah,
for the most part, I think. Especially as you creep up to 100 pitches and towards the end of the sixth or whatever it is. Physically, you're not feeling your absolute best, but mentally, you got to kind of will yourself to get the most out of yourself and kind of leave it all out. And thankfully, was able to do that.
That top or bottom of the first seemed like it took a long time. I mean, the guy threw 45 pitches. 10 guys came to the plate.
On the bottom, on the bottom half, yeah. But hey, I mean, if it means we're scoring runs, I'll take it all day.
For you, just what does it mean to kind of go out there and not only help guarantee the sweep, but also just kind of cap off this really great homestand for you guys, and also Ichiro weekend on top of it?
Yeah, good week and a half for the boys. No, I mean, I guess coming out of the deadline, I think realizing the special group that we have in this locker room, and not just the talent on the field, but also everybody's gelling really well. And I think obviously it's great. You want to continue to stack wins and be in a position where at the end of September we're in a good spot and playing our best baseball. And as long as we're in it, and playing our best baseball at the right time, I think that's what matters most. But obviously try to, build momentum and stack wins right now as best you can. And then, when we get to the end of September and head into October, that's where we really want to be playing our best ball.
His speech last night, how much did you appreciate how he addressed you guys directly towards the dugout? And was there anything about his messaging that really resonated with you?
Yeah, it was cool. I think, obviously we have the privilege of being around him most days during the season, obviously when we're home. But he's just one of those guys where his words, carry so much weight no matter what the message is. But for him to, take time out of his speech to address us and do so in a way that was very clear, very, positive, but also motivating, I think was pretty cool. And I think everybody in the dugout felt that. And I think it shows by everybody, being on the top step and wanting to hear what he has to say. And I think everybody on the team, especially the guys that have been here for a few years, kind of have our own relationship with him. And, he means a lot to the organization, to the city, but also he means something special and different to everybody on the team too. So he's a special guy, man.
Do you guys grasp that as much as he means to you, as much guidance as he provides to you, that you also give him a purpose? Like he was talking in his presser today about how he has to keep his arm in shape so that he can throw with Julio. If Julio just randomly wants to, that you in some way give him a purpose too.
I mean, I hope it's reciprocated just a little bit. I think it's like 99% what he gives us, but I think he holds that 1% in such high regard that the person that he is and the player that he is, like, he takes that as seriously as anybody. So him just being here and showing up early every day, and you see him working every day, like that stuff, it doesn't even really have to be what he says. It's just his actions already hold so much weight, and then the person that he is and the human being that he is and being able to connect to everybody, like, that makes it even, 10 times more impactful. So, I think we're so lucky to have him, around, and not just like the pillar that he is in the city and the team and the organization, but the fact that he still shows up every day and does what he does. Like, it's unlike anything else in the world.
Are you ready for that over-the-head throw from Josh and then the first one when he threw that over his head?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only shot we probably would have had is if I would have just found the ball.
No. I am aware.
Yeah, a great way to end the homestand. Just another, outstanding ball game by our guys. I think getting 4 there in the first, 45 pitch inning, that's really hard to do. Some really good at bats, getting some traffic. Gino with the big, RBIs, base hit. Cal, obviously the number 45. Johnny Bench is a pretty big name. So when you tie him, you're really doing something, and unbelievable. Just a great way, kind of put them on their heels a little bit at first. And then, they tried to call back in. They hit some pitches that were out of the strike zone off of Bryan. And then, I think adding on a couple runs late was huge for us, and getting a little bit wider margin there in the end. And great job by the bullpen. Fergie giving us 1 2/3 there. That was huge. Vargy, being able to close down that inning, and then obviously Matt Brash there in the end to slam the door. But again, a great homestand. Outstanding work, and now it's time to take it on the road and just continue the momentum.
Dan, with Wu, I mean, it was a battle. I think he had 31 foul balls, and he only had 2 3-ball counts, but it just seemed like it was just a battle to get those guys.
Yeah, they were fouling a lot of balls off, and they were able to get to his fastball a couple times, but he continued to battle. He just he was determined to get through that thing, and was able to do it. And I thought, getting through 6 again, is pretty incredible, and he did what he had to do. He made pitches when he had to make pitches, and that's what good ones do. And Bryan certainly did that today.
The way you finished the 6th, I mean, you had to like that too. Just empty the tank.
Yep.
So right here, I'm mending.
Yeah, and that's what you love to see, and that's that says a lot about what's in his heart, and how he pitches, and he emptied the tank, he let it all out there, he left it all on the field, and Fergie did right afterwards, and I think it was just an outstanding outing on the mound for us.
What gave you the conviction to let him get through the 6? We saw Vargas was one, and Pete went out there, but what gave you the conviction to let him? I think Bryan's, he's been our guy, and he's gotten through those situations. He's been so difficult, and we just thought he was towards the bottom of the order, and we thought he was going to be able to handle those guys even with his pitch count in the 90s, and like we said, emptied the tank and on the last one, and was able to get through it, and Bryan's he is focused, he's determined, and that really showed today in the 6th.
And how big were the 2 runs and the Naylor home run and then Dom coming?
Yeah, the Naylor home run was huge. You kind of let out a little air there that you had a 2-run lead, and then to add on another one there in the 8th was even bigger. To get some traffic, to drive one in. I think 3 runs on the home run today, 3 runs sort of the traditional way, and we've talked about if you can do both, you're going to have a consistent offense, and we've been able to do that on this homestand. Today was a day we needed a couple runs, not via the home run, and we were able to do it.
All right. Thanks, Sam.
Kelly, you guys have won 7 in a row, 9-1 on the homestand coming out of the deadline. Just what have you seen from the momentum that you guys have been able to build, and how important is it to keep that going on the road?
Yeah, I mean, I just think, obviously the first thing that pops out is, offense, playing really well. Just putting together really good at-bats, top to bottom. Guys are starting at the top and, driving runs in the middle, and guys at the bottom are doing the same thing, getting on base, setting the tone. So, thought we did a really good job early today.
I mean, you can't start a game much better than that, forcing the guy to throw 45 pitches in the first inning and 10 guys come to plate. I guess maybe you might have wanted more runs, but I mean, that's the way you want to start a game, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great start. Put the pressure on from the beginning, and, that's what having a deep lineup does. So, like I said, some really good at-bats, got him, deep pitch count. He did settle in after that, but, like you said, great way to start the game, and you couldn't ask for much more.
For Josh to add on there at the end, what did that do for you guys, and the ability to go up to the top rail on that changeup?
Yeah, I mean, he's been amazing since he's been here. Been a great. Obviously, we know how good of a hitter he is and all the bags he's stolen, but just bringing a good insight to the game. When he sees the game in differently than other guys. So he's smart out there. He's good at recognizing pitches, things like that. So he's been awesome. Gino, big 2 RBIs today. Just it's great having those guys. Like I said, it makes it so much deeper, and it gives Brash a little bit of breathing room there at the end to be ultra aggressive. Going at guys. Knowing there's a couple runs to play with. So.
In your at-bat with the homer, you get to 2-0, and then it's 2-1, but then you get it back to 3-1. How big is that in terms of what you could see or what your aggressiveness level is when you work it back to 3-1, even if you don't get something on 2-0, you get a strike on 2-0? Yeah,
I mean, trying to get in those counts as often as I can. I know when I'm getting those good counts, I'm seeing the ball well, and I'm trusting my hands. So was able to get to that. It was a big one to kind of start the game, and I think we're doing a great job of that. Laying off the stuff early and getting ourselves in good counts and being able to drive balls. So.
To be able to do what you guys did for Ichiro's weekend in conjunction of that celebration, just how special is that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a great week. I mean, first of all, we swept, which is amazing. Getting to do that on Ichiro weekend is awesome, and he's, like I said, one of a kind, and obviously it was a great weekend for fans and great weather all week, so it was just an all-around awesome weekend, and, couldn't cap it off any better today. So,
how much did you really take in his speech last night, especially when he addressed you guys directly at the dugout?
Yeah, it was. He didn't have to do that. It's pretty cool when he singles us out and talks about us and gives us hope, and obviously everything he said was awesome, and even from the Hall of Fame speech, he had some really good things to say that I thought resonated with his team a lot, and. So he's just, like I said, always great to have somebody like that on your side and, at the field every single day with you. So it's awesome. And, everything he said was right and true. So.
What did you see from Bryan? He gets a 4-run lead, and they scratch out runs for 3 straight innings, and I think that 31 foul balls on him. But he was able to kind of really ride it there at the end. I mean, they barreled some balls on him, but it seemed like the last 2 innings he was able to really kind of find it.
Yeah, I think he didn't have maybe the fastball command there and the, maybe second, third, fourth kind of innings. So I thought, like you said, he got better towards the end of the game. Usually his fastball command is a little better. He's just kind of leaving some balls, where they're able to kind of slap it. But they're a scrappy lineup. They're able to smack some balls around. They're fast, so they did a pretty good playing going in. But give him credit, he still got through 6 and only gave up 3, I think. So
You mentioned the top to bottom contributions, but beyond just the home runs and the hits, just the way you guys are getting on base. Today was 3 hit by pitches. Yesterday it was Cole's 4 walks. Just in terms of when it comes to the game at the plate, just what have you noticed, and how does it make the team feel knowing that you guys are really kind of like hitting all the checking all the boxes in the stand?
yeah, I mean, I think obviously with having a deeper lineup, you're seeing a lot of guys, a lot of consistency in the lineup, and guys are getting ABs off lefties are hitting lefties, righties are hitting righties. So when you're having that kind of those consistent ABs, you can be a little more I guess consistent, and you're seeing more pitches. It's not so foreign to you. So like I said, having running out that same kind of lineup every single day is important, and guys are getting those at bats, and it's only going to help us in the long run. So it's been great. I thought some guys have had some really good ABs left on left and right on right, vice versa. So it makes it really tough to match up.
He maybe doesn't get as much attention as the other trade deadline pickups, but Ferguson gave you 1 2/3 really clutch innings today. What have you seen from him? What do you like from what makes him effective? What's it been like working with him?
Yeah, he did great today. He obviously gave the homer yesterday, but came out today, and that's what a pro does. And he's been around the league, and he did a really good job today. It was tough. It's tough to go out. Obviously, got through the first inning easy. The second inning was a little tougher, but for a guy who threw that many pitches, it was a tough situation, and he gutted it out and got a big second out there and able to get it to Vargas. So he's been great so far, and like I said, it's not just affecting him, but it's affecting the rest of our bullpen. Gabe being able to stay a little more fresh and helping him out. So it's really helped with those lefties in the pen.
Thanks, Cal.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
You too.